welcome. I'm Ashley of The Ugly Sheep, and today we're going to spin cotton. So a couple of years ago, I really liked the idea of spinning cotton to make my own dish towels and rags. I may have gone a little overboard in ordering said cotton. This bottom box is 5 pounds of cotton. Not entirely sure what I thought I was going to do with that, but I haven't spun cotton in probably 2 years. And I figured I needed a reason to start spinning cotton again so that maybe I could use some of this cotton that I have acquired in copious amounts for no apparent reason. So first I thought we'd do a little talk about the cotton itself. I do have kind of a big variety because, like I said, got a little carried away. So white cotton is the easiest to find, and the only cotton that I have spun so far are these white poonies. And this has been a really easy prep to spin, even for someone that had never spun cotton before. I also have this cotton roving that I'm a little worried about spinning because cotton is a very short fiber, and I'm not sure how well spinning a preparation of fiber like this is gonna go, since in theory all of the fibers are going in one direction. The other cotton fiber I have is the actual fiber that still has the seed in it, and it's in a cloud. And some of the people that I am in a guild with have spun cotton, and they have spun it straight from the seeds like this in a cloud and said it wasn't too hard. So I'm hopeful that that is the case for me because I have a lot of it. This is the 5 pound box of it. However, everything I showed you so far has been white. And prior to the Industrial Revolution, there were also a lot of colors of cotton. And so I have green cotton that is still attached to its seed, and it is green coming out of the ground. This is not dyed cotton. This is what the cotton looks like, and it will get more green and a deeper green as I use it and wash it. The other color cotton I have is this tan cotton, and this is a roving preparation as well, but it is a very beautiful color. And so I'm really excited to spin some of this, but I guess the first thing to do is remember how to spin. The good news is that 2 years ago when I started spinning cotton, I didn't get very far, so I didn't lose a lot of skill. I took the first try of spinning cotton off of the spindle for my charka, which I will show you in a minute. And you have to work out those fluffy bits a lot more in cotton. Every time I came across one of them, it broke. I had much better luck with the second spin. It came off all in one go. I did have a little bit of breaking as I tried to ply it, but it was nowhere near as much breaking as this first one. So hopefully I can jump right back into it. I'm gonna take this off and start cleaning these so we can take a look at them later. To clean cotton, you actually have to boil it. So I would highly suggest you get a pot that you are not going to use for cooking. A charity shop, Goodwill, whatever you have near you to get cheap pots, probably a good idea because you're not going to want to eat anything that comes out of that pot after you see the water after this pure white cotton is cleaned. So let me get that started and we'll start talking about the tools for spinning cotton. The first tool we're going to use to spin cotton is the Tockley spindle. It is a supported spindle and it is typically fairly short and it spins incredibly quickly. You could probably spin cotton on other forms of supported spindles, but you will want to make sure you put enough spin into the fiber, otherwise it will fall apart. Cotton is a very short fiber. It needs to have a lot of twist built up in it to stay together. I did make the leader for this spinning project out of the cotton, and I will say if you're not used to making your own leader, cotton is probably not the fiber to start that with. It is a little tricky to get a leader going because of how much twist you need to have in your yarn for it to stay together. And that is a little difficult to do before you start actually spinning properly. And as you are doing a woolen draw, you will need to make sure that you take care of those slubs that inevitably happen, because in cotton, those slubs will break apart very easily. Anytime I've had cotton break apart on me, it was because of too little twist, not too much twist. So when you are spinning things like wool, you often have breakage where you have too much twist. So right before or after the slub, where the twist is building up. In spinning cotton, you have the twist building up on either sides of the slub, but because it is such a short fibered, short stapled fiber, the fluffy bit is actually what pulls apart because there's not enough twist in it to stay together. So if you are going to use a different spindle, make sure that you are putting more twist in it than you think. It probably still initially won't be enough, especially if you're used to spinning long stapled fibers, such as long wools. Also, it does not quite stick together as nicely as wool does in general because it doesn't catch each other's fibers the same way. I also have a charka that I will show you in a minute. I have a small one which is used to spin cotton, and it is a spindle wheel. If you have a traditional wheel, you can also spin cotton. You are just going to want to make sure you are using your highest whirl ratio that you have, so that you make sure that it is spinning fast enough to get the twist that you need to keep the cotton together, because it does require an awful lot of twist. The Tockley that I have is metal and a metal tip, so I put the tip in a metal bowl that I got so that it does not scratch up or work its way through my wooden bowls. I would highly suggest you do not use a metal supported spindle in a non-metal bowl because of the damage that will likely happen to it. It is a very, very sharp point at the end of this, and it is metal, so it will hold its point for quite a while. To wind down my cup, I'm just holding it at a 45-degree angle to the spindle and spinning on, and bringing it all the way up to the whirl and all the way down to the end of my cup. The charka is a lot harder to see, partially because I am spinning white fiber on a white carpet. This is kind of a general idea of the carpet throughout my house, and except for sitting on the hardwood floor, I don't know that you're going to see the actual yarn that I am spinning, but you can see the actual wheel that I am using. And so there is a large wheel that has the handle that I am turning to spin the yarn and to wind it on, and then a smaller accelerator wheel which turns the spindle. The spindle has a very thin, long connecting yarn between the small wheel and the spindle, and depending on which side the yarn is going through, whether the front yarn is on top or the back yarn is on top, dictates which way the spindle spins. So you spin your handle in the same direction, whether you are spinning clockwise or counterclockwise. And that's a little hard to kind of get a handle on the first time I spun. The spinning that you're watching me do is actually the third time I've spun cotton on the charka. And when I pulled it off and the cotton that I spun from the spindle is a much better quality yarn, and I think it's because I have a lot of experience spindle spinning. But the wheel here is so much faster in spinning the yarn. So I might just have to work at it a little bit longer to get decent at spinning on the charka. Both spindles have 4 ponies worth of cotton spun on them. Even though I never used the spindle to spin cotton and had been using the charka, the spindle was much faster for me. I still have a lot of getting used to the charka to go. But these are the first 2 that I had spun, which were both on the charka. And they're a little lumpy, but they held together. And I'm going to apply these, and hopefully we'll have enough to make a small project coming up. If you have tips on spinning cotton, leave those in the comments below. And while you're down there, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.